This tutorial is for 4th grade, Module 5, Lesson 16a. In this lesson, we're going to look at what it means to add and subtract fractions. The first section says to shade in fractions to find the sum. My first problem is 3/5 plus 1/5. You'll notice that the fraction has been written in unit form, meaning that we use the word fifths or fifth instead of writing the fraction using a numerator and a denominator. The purpose of this is to point out that the number that's in the denominator spot is really telling me what kind of piece I have. In order to add 3/5 to 1/5, I'm going to shade in the tape diagram below. Since my one whole was divided into 5 pieces already, all I needed to do was shade in 3 of those pieces to show 3/5. And you can see I've done that in yellow. And then to shade in 1/5, I just shaded in one more piece that you can see in blue. To find the sum, I just need to combine the 4 pieces. So I have 3/5 plus 1/5, which would give me 4/5. Notice that in this case, again, the word fifth refers to the denominator, which is the type of piece that I'm adding. The takeaway here is that we would never add the denominators. The denominator is just considered my label in my fraction. We would follow the same process when we're adding fractions that are written in number form. Here I have 2/6 plus 3/6. My whole has been divided into 6 pieces. That denominator tells me what kind of piece I'm adding. So now I'll just shade in the number of pieces shown by each numerator. I have 2 pieces shaded in blue, and those are my 2/6. And then to that, I added the 3 pieces shaded in yellow, and that's my 3/6. That means altogether I have 5 pieces, and since each piece is a sixth, that's my denominator. 2/6 plus 3/6 equals 5/6. Sometimes when we add fractions, we end up with a sum that's greater than one whole. In this problem, I'm adding 2 halves plus 1/2. I have 2 whole numbers divided into halves. I'm going to shade in 2 halves for the first addend and then 1/2 for the second addend. When I combine my 2 fractions, I end up with 3 halves, or another way to say that is I have 3 halves, which is the same thing as 1 whole and 1/2. Either answer would be considered correct. To subtract fractions, we'll start with the first fraction. In this case, it's 2/3, and from that, we're going to subtract 1/3. The tape diagram has been shaded in to show my 2/3. 2 pieces are shaded, each piece is a third. From that, I'll subtract 1/3. To show that, I'm just going to cross off 1/3. That means I am left with 1/3. 2/3 minus 1/3 equals 1/3. And we would use the same process when the numbers have been written in fraction form. Here I have 3/6. From that I will subtract 2/6. So I have 3 pieces shaded in. Each piece is 1/6. I'm going to subtract 2/6. That means I'm just going to cross off 2 of those pieces, and I am left with 1 piece, and that piece is a sixth. 3/6 minus 2/6 equals 1/6. Again, these diagrams help us see that when we're adding and subtracting fractions that have the same denominator, we would add or subtract the numerators, but the denominator stays the same because it's considered a label for the type of piece that we're working with.